So the next thing to happen on Monday Night Raw, we gotta talk about the main event now. But before we talk about that match, we gotta talk about a segment that happened backstage. So yeah, we see Sami Zayn getting interviewed by Kathy Kelly, and yes, Sami was talking about the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament because he'll be going to SmackDown this Friday to face Randy Orton 1-on-1. So yeah, that's what he was talking about there. But then Karrion Kross comes up, and Kross was talking about how Sami's going to lose. He's going to lose to Randy Orton, and what's going to happen is that he's never going to win the World Heavyweight Championship because of people like him that thinks that they're going to keep on doing the same thing over and over and over again until something happens and succeeds and all that, but that's never the case. So yeah, that's what Cross was talking about there. And then Sami was talking about how after he gets done with the King of the Ring tournament, that the first thing he's going to do is get his hands on Karrion Kross. So yeah, that's what he tells Karrion Kross, because he says that all Kross does is a lot of talk and never goes out to the ring. So yeah, that's what Sami was telling Kross. But yeah, then after that we get to the main event. It was main event Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed with Paul Heyman at ringside versus Sheamus versus Rusev 1-on-1. A fatal 4-way match in the first round of the King of the Ring tournament. So yeah, we get to this match. In this match, it was a pretty good match. All four of these guys beating the hell out of each other. We see Rusev locking all the accolade onto Jey, and then Sheamus comes in, hitting the bro kick on the Rusev, getting a 2 count out of that. And then we see Bronson Reed laying out Sheamus, hitting the tsunami at one point on Sheamus, getting a 2 count out of that because Jey breaks at the pin. But then Jey and Bronson was going at it back and forth and everything. And then we started to see Jey taking control, hitting some super kicks on the Bronson, and then he hits a massive spear onto Bronson Reed. He climbs up the top turnbuckle, about to hit the Uso splash up until Braun Breaker comes out of nowhere, pushing Jey off the top turnbuckle. And then that's when Sami Zayn comes up, brawling with Braun Breaker outside of the ring, running him into the ring post. But then Breaker starts coming back, picking up Sami for a military press, sending him across the announce table, laying him out. And then Braun turns around, he gets hit with a front flip senton by Penta, coming out of nowhere from jumping over the top rope. And then after that, we see Bronson Reed grabbing Jey, and then he hits a Death Valley driver onto Jey. He climbs up the top turnbuckle, about to hit the tsunami onto him, but then LA Knight comes up, pushing Bronson Reed off the top turnbuckle, and then that gives Jey the opportunity to climb up the top turnbuckle, jumping off with a Uso splash onto the back of Bronson Reed, and then he climbs up the top turnbuckle again, hitting a second Uso splash onto Bronson Reed, pinning him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Jey Uso defeated Sheamus, Rusev, and Bronson Reed tonight in the Fatal 4-Way match in the first round of the King of the Ring tournament. That's what happened there. So Jey Uso qualifies into the semifinals of the tournament, where he'll be facing Cody Rhodes next week on Monday Night Raw. So yeah, that's what's going to be happening there. But then after all that stuff, we see Seth Rollins coming out there. He's all pissed off, and it looks like he's getting into the ring about to attack Jey Uso, up until Cody Rhodes comes running out there. He gets face to face with Seth, and it looks like both of them about to brawl. But then Seth decides to get out of the ring, and then we see Seth, Braun, Bronson, and Paul staring at Cody and Jey because Jey done got back up to his feet, and then Jey and Cody started staring at each other to end off the show. But yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good match, and all that stuff was pretty good after the match and everything. I'll give it 4 stars. That's why I'll say that was match of the night right there. But yeah, pretty good match. But yeah, for tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw, I'll give it 9 stars. That's why I'll give it. It was a pretty good episode for the most part. The Fatal 4 matches was pretty good. We had Goldberg return tonight, which was alright. And, it was unfortunate that Liv Morgan got injured, and hopefully she'll be back really soon. They announced that she had dislocated shoulders, so that's what happened there. But yeah, that has been my Monday Night Raw reviews. Like, subscribe to Team W Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris McDaniels, and follow me on all my social media accounts. I'll be down there in the description box, and I'll see you guys later for tomorrow night's NXT reviews. See you guys later. Till then.